Joe Orth and I are starting a podcast. What should we call it?
Hey, don't pick on me. You know why? Because this is why. Let's see what he says.
The Joe Show?
Give Joe the business?
That's right.
Cup of Joe.
Cup of Joe.
What is happening here?
Would you listen?
We'll give you a chance.
Thank you.
That's Joe.
That's Rooster.
And this is the Together We Shall podcast, episode 19. What's happening, brother?
Not much. If you notice in any of the listeners and viewers, I didn't try the numbers, but I will next time because I feel like 20 is easy. People might like freak out, but that's what it's not like spirit fingers, but I've thought about this for a few episodes now.
This is intense, kind of like deep diving, bro. Like you were giving thought to just these very complex topics.
I don't know if he does it in the editing process. I can't. We have to talk about this right now.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even introduced our guest yet, and then Joe and I can hear in the background his computer fan, and some of you are going to hear it throughout the episode. But if we start laughing for no reason, like our guest is in the middle of some heartfelt story about that one time they were really sad, and Joe and I are just crying laughing, it's because that computer fan sounds like the purge siren in the background. Anyway,
19 years of like being a Marine and like we're supposed to have bearing in 20, 30, whatever, for you, like, but this is why like I struggled at boot camp because I don't have bearing. So like something would happen and I'm gonna laugh like, and then I'm gonna do push-ups and it's gonna suck really bad. But like for that moment of laughter, it was worth it for me for those 13 weeks through boot camp.
Fair. Not going to argue with that, man. I get it. You almost have to like take yourself to another location completely. So like I'm going to try to have bearing with the fan going on. But anyway, what's happening? Shoot, man, Little League World Series time. How about that?
Yeah, the journey or the process that is the Little League World Series has been big this year. I mean, you got the kid who got hit in the head and he gets to first base, then the pitcher can't throws, and they had that heartfelt moment, and now they're like been both invited like all expense trip to the World Series, like the whole nine because of their like sportsmanship, and then you got the one kid who fell off the bunk bed, and it's like, and then like there's obviously the baseball aspect of it.
Yeah. All the while, there's still games to be played, and I guess this past weekend they kicked off the international play up in Williamsport. It was cool because me and Lori went to Vermont recently, and I don't know if we talked about that in an episode or not, but on our way back, we had to pick up Camden from skate park, and we stayed literally in a hotel that's like 6 miles away from Williamsport, and also is like a mile from the Little League World Series museum. And in that moment, when we pulled up at 9:00 at night, I'm like, certainly the museum's open. We can go to the museum. And Lori's like, the museum? I'm like, the Little League World Series is played like right here. And I'm getting actually weirdly chills telling the story about it. There's just something about that. And you and I know kind of where I stand on baseball in the professional sense. And I don't know if I've talked about it in a podcast, but being within 10 miles of Little League World Series field.
Yeah, it's a bucket list item for me, and I'm waiting until hopefully there's a day when Owen and Weston like baseball enough to even want to go, regardless if they play or don't play. If not, I'll make the pilgrimage myself. But like I've done Cooperstown before, so like check that box. But yeah, Little League World Series game museum is definitely on my bucket list. I had a similar, like, maybe the museum's open when I went to the Garth Brooks concert with my mom, because walking out of the stadium to our hotel, we passed the NASCAR, whatever, Hall of Fame or museum, whatever it is. And I was like, oh man, they got to be open at midnight. No, but I took a selfie out front, so I was there. But no, there was a lot of Miller Times that evening, so I thought for
Oh,
sure it'd be
wait,
open.
somebody said it. That's Miller time, ladies and gentlemen. That took like less than a few moments, and that is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Miller time's that part. Oh, wait, who's drinking Chick-fil-A? Rooster's drinking filet. Why is Rooster drinking Chick-fil-A? Because Joe went to doggone Chick-fil-A this morning and sent me a picture of it. Dude, you can't do that because that makes all the things happen. And when I'm out and about and I'm literally a mile away and there's a Chick-fil-A, like suddenly the bread is calling. But I didn't even get the bread. I didn't get the bread.
I don't know how long this trend has been happening, but I've always known personally, I guess, that those bags that they put the sandwich in is genius because it keeps it like warm and soft enough. It doesn't like go over. But now, like I've seen like through reels and TikToks, people they take the chicken patty or whatever off the bread, put it back in there, put their sauce in there, and shake it. And I'm like,
Oh,
why? Why? Where was this? I don't know, 20 years ago. Like, and then today I just got nuggets, so like I couldn't even do it. But like, it was a dilemma I had while trying to order with the young lady there. She's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Well, I do want a sandwich so I can do the shake thing." She's like, "All right, sir, what do you want?"
yeah. She's like, we have the fastest, most efficient moving drive-throughs in the world,
Yeah.
and you are currently adversely affecting the flow, sir.
It's perfect too. Like, yeah, fastest, efficient. Like, there's no menu, right? They're just like, "What do you want?" Because they know like you've been there before.
It's cool. But what we just did, like without even introducing our guests, we had Miller time and 4 tangents. So come back on the thoroughfare here. Let's get PJ in here. PJ coming to us. I'm not going to say from where because he's going to do that. But without further ado, PJ, welcome to the show that you've been at for the past 5 minutes, but now you're formally here. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So we always start off with like, where are you? Where are you coming to us from? And why do you think you're on this podcast? Yeah, of all the people in the world, PJ's on episode 19.
My name is PJ Sapienza. I'm the Southeast ambassador or the ambassador for Southeast Michigan, and I'm also one of the senior directors for Ainsley's Angels. I am from Michigan. In Michigan, we always point to our hand where we live. Why I'm here? When you guys started it, you went, "Hey, you're going to be on it," and I kind of learned when Rooster says you're going to do something, ideas, you might as well do it.
Well, that's fair, I guess. Wow, I don't really know how to respond to that last part. But since it's Miller time, what are you sipping on?
I've got my Powerade Zero, and I'm drinking it out of my Heart and Soul glass, which is a race that we put on locally with several of our sponsors on it: Impellium, Chemcraft, Above and Beyond Realty, FAC, Running Lab. It's a race we do for Ainsley's and for Special Olympics locally. That's next month.
Yeah, no, that is coming up. That's exciting. So for all the people you're going to send this podcast to across the PJ world of influence, I hope y'all are registered. No, there's totally more than 7. Joe will attest to that when he checks the metrics in about 10 days. But you have to send them this link, and you have to also send them the registration link for your race.
Oh, of course.
What did I want to talk to PJ about today, Joe? Anything like come to mind?
There's a lot that comes to mind. I mean, his life, his upbringing, how he got to Ainsley's Angels, the future of Ainsley's Angels and his connection to the Special Olympics. We're gonna see PJ in October.
Where?
Oh, look what he did! Go ahead, man. 30 seconds or less. Go ahead. This is the last time, by the way.
But it will be
it's-
correct. Yeah. So if you were listening to the podcast right now and it is before August 30th, pause if you want to run or ride the Marine Corps Marathon. Hit pause right now. And don't hit pause because you're not going to know who to email. Email joe@ainsleysangels.org if it's before August 30th, and we can make that happen. The key is before August 30th. That's like clock strikes 12, the Cinderella thing, whatever. Like there's nothing, can't register after that.
Okay, got it.
We'll see
Loud and
PJ
clear.
there.
Yes, we will see PJ there. I understand that. PJ, what are you looking forward to in late October in our nation's capital?
It'll be the first time I get to start from the beginning with the rider. I've always been the last couple of years been an extra rider starting in the pack and kind of catching up. But Team Beauty and the Beast are coming from Michigan and going to do it from the beginning together.
Team Beauty and the Beast. Tell us more. You have intrigued our interest. Is Disney sponsoring y'all now? What's going on?
No, sadly, no. Although we are available. My writer, Alyssa, nicknamed Sparkles, she's Princess Beauty. I'm obviously, the Beast. So, yeah, it's just our nickname, and she's loves everything Disney. So our running playlist of music is a little too heavy Disney sometimes. But the longer the races, I'm allowed to put in some of my music in. But otherwise, all Disney and Team Beauty and the Beast.
Can you mix in like every 30 minutes a song? Or is that too much?
5Ks that I'm allowed to. So there's some. I'm a hip hop guy, so there's some of that in there. We go from some Frozen song to Andy Mineo or Lecrae dropping beats. So
Yay! Where did he just take us? Yes.
That's
How about that?
well, it's like it's the right hand, right? For Michigan and Detroit. Like there's a
Yep.
lot of hip hop roots from that area. So
yeah, some guy named
naturally,
Eminem from around here.
Yeah.
That was absolutely me and Ainsley's jam, dude. We throw that Eminem "Lose Yourself" in there, and Mom's Spaghetti's going everywhere. And yeah, anyway, I get tangents. But so you're going to do that. You've done Marine Corps before. You're pumped about that. Beauty and the Beast. What was the other thing that I was going to add? Oh, I was going to say, if you haven't gone to the Together We Shall podcast Instagram page, we're going to have pictures of Beauty and the Beast when we launch this episode. So like we do for all our podcasts, we have cool pictures that kind of bring the podcast to light. Anyway, tangent. Thoroughfare. Cool. Is this your first? Is Marine Corps Marathon the only marathon you've ever run, PJ?
No, I've done Detroit a few times. I've coached Special Olympics for most of my life. I have a special needs brother, so that was our life. And 2013, I had one of my athletes wanted to run a marathon, and I'm a sprinter. I was a sprinter in school. Anything above a mile was just stupid. And I'm like, all right. So I started researching for a few weeks. I think we can do this. And we trained together. In 13, we ran Detroit, which is cool. You run across the bridge into Canada for a few miles, back through the tunnel. And yeah, since then, I think this Marine Corps will be my 8th marathon now.
What's that bridge called? It's like a cool name, isn't it?
No, Ambassador Bridge.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
Well, they're
thought it was
building a
something
new one
different,
now,
but
the
that-
Gordie Howe Bridge, so that'll be a lot cooler for all of us hockey people.
hockey. Yeah.
What is? Wait, I missed that. What is it? What happened to the Ambassador Bridge? It's getting renamed.
They're building a new one next to it because it's the busiest international port or international crossing between the U.S. and Canada. So they're building a second bridge, and it'll be the Gordie Howe Bridge.
And I'm not even going to say who's Gordie Howe, but for all the people that don't know, y'all should see Joe's
The whole
face.
hockey fan base from your podcast now.
Man, we're gonna bring him in,
I-
dude. Gordie Howe. We need,
Yeah. Is Camden home or is he working? Like, yell.
he's working. He's at the marina, but I'm gonna have to. I'm sure you're texting him right now, Joe. So I just give up for the sake of all the people that don't know who Gordie Howe is. I'm here. I'm their advocate. I'm here for them. Gordie Howe. I mean, it must be something special to get his own bridge. Connecting.
One of the greatest hockey players ever. He's in that very short list of people that would debate.
Okay, so Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky.
Detroit.
Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky, the guy that plays for
And-
Tampa.
Gordie Howe started in the 50s or something, right? He played for
Yeah.
like 30 some odd, like something crazy.
Yeah, and then even after he retired, every decade he'd come out and play on a minor league team, so he could have played another decade. And he played with his sons at one point, and
So he's a really good hockey player. Got it. All right, so
just a little.
34 years.
Yeah, like Michael Jordan's a pretty good basketball player.
34 years.
it's really that level. Like I showed my ignorance that much. It'd be like if I said who's Michael Jordan. It's that bad.
You know what hockey is? They play it on ice. I'm not sure if you guys have that down there.
And what's jacked up is my son played hockey from age 4 to 11, and 6 of those years in the goal, as a goalie. And when you're a hockey dad, that's one thing, but a goalie dad, you actually have to have a clue. And in my case, I just knew how to get that kid dressed in the net on time and to be his biggest cheerleader. Nobody else played hockey except Camden. So we didn't have that in Louisiana. So for me, it was just all about all my energy's in on him. But anyway, just unique journey. Sorry, Hal.
I mean, yeah, I understand why, like, you don't know the, like, I mean, like, growing up, like, my dad was a huge Bruins fan, and Bobby Orr, so, like, but, like, Gordie Howe, I knew he played for a long time, but he started in 46. I didn't realize I thought it was like 50 something, but that's, I mean, so, like, that would make sense, like, why, not, it's like same as, like, that's a weird era for baseball too. You know what I mean? I mean, that's like, it's after, like, Ted Williams and,
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle
Booth and all. Yeah, it's like a weird decade for sports, but 46 to 80.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. I'm wondering how many people will actually email podcasts at AinsleysAngels.org and tell me how they can't believe I don't know who Mr. Powell is. Or is it
Howe?
How?
Okay.
HOWE.
Don't you live in Howe, Michigan?
I do. Different spelling.
What?
Goodness.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, I don't even know where to go now. Look, I'm just going to, okay, y'all are in charge. Drive this podcast because I don't know where to go.
Yeah, so, well, PJ's got a race coming up. They're going to run, or no, the Detroit Marathon ran over the Ambassador Bridge. I thought the name was something, I think it's a cool name. I mean, we're all ambassadors of inclusion, so.
Oh, that's true, yep.
So, yeah, 13, I think, right? You ran the Detroit Marathon over the bridge with one of your Special Olympics athletes. So, let's rewind. I know you said you have a special needs brother and Special Olympics athlete. Can you tell us about both of those?
Yeah, my brother's a year and a half younger than me, has mosaic Downs, and when he turned 8, I was 10. Whole family got involved with Special Olympics and started coaching when I was 13, coaching basketball, and since then I've coached, I don't know, 5 or 6 different sports and helped our county program. I'm the assistant director for it, and then yeah.
That's
Now you're, go ahead.
I'll edit that out.
Between me and then there's the siren. I think I heard it again. The Purdy siren.
Well, I don't think I've not heard it anymore. I feel like it's just on repeat now.
The audience, dude, they're like, what's wrong with these guys today? They're completely out of character.
I apologize for my 20-year-old computer.
No, we're actually in character. This is more in keeping with the traditional conversations. And
Yeah.
PJ, we're blaming you and thanking you for bringing us out, bringing it all out, the back and forth.
All
All
right,
right,
so
what are you gonna say?
Me or PJ?
I don't know. You're trying to get to 2017, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, but
So
how
let's
do you-
fast forward from 2013 to 2017 in your athletic career, PJ.
Okay. 2017, I went blind for a little while.
Wait, what?
Do
I know,
tell more. Tell us more.
It actually starts when I was younger. I lost my left eye when I was 6. Had a
Where'd you put it? I couldn't help myself.
Exactly. It's gone.
Thank God. That's why I love PJ, man. The sense of humor. He just
Love
brings.
that.
Okay, so back up.
Best response to that ever.
Keep going.
I had a surgery that went sideways. The 1 in a million chance of something going wrong. I'm the one. So I can see light and dark out of it, and occasionally I'll catch a movement and go, "What the hell was that?" But that's about it. At 12, my good eye, I had to have the same surgery. Luckily, things had progressed then, and things went well. Both times they happened really fast. It was cataracts, which at such a young age, but was fine from 12 till 2016 December. Went for a run. Michigan, it's dark by 5:30. Got in the car and I noticed a speck, and I thought I was just on my contact. Got home, showered, took them out, didn't pay attention. Next morning there was like a blackness over a bottom chunk of my eye, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't good." By luck, I happened to have a doctor appointment that day already at my eye doctor, and went in and like, "Oh, you've torn your retina. You're going to go have surgery now." Okay, what does that mean? And wasn't fun. It's they put a bubble in your eye and you're blind for, well, in my case, if you have 2 eyes, you would have been just discomfort. But had to have your face down for a week, and then after that, till the bubble goes away, you're seeing nothing for a while. And slowly as it dissipates, you can kind of see, like I remember the day I could see the corner where the wall and the ceiling came together. Now, if you move your head, it's a bubble, so it moves around and you can't see it again. So if you sit real still, and then eventually it would dissipate more and more, and so I could sit on the floor and see part of the TV. So I was off for I think 2.5 months before I was able to go back to work.
Dude.
Was it like 2.5 months of like poor distorted vision, or was it because of like you couldn't like risk injuring it again?
So because I couldn't see.
Zero.
I don't like when I had LASIK, I had like 20 seconds of that as I went from like one room to the other. And like I couldn't see anything and had like essentially a panic attack. But then, 10 minutes later when I was like leaving, I could like it was just blurry, went home, took a nap, and like an hour later I could see. And for like that 20 seconds I was like in just pure emotional roller coaster. So for 2.5 months, like, bro.
Yeah, how'd you battle
I don't-
through that?
I don't
Where'd you go mentally? Like,
Mentally then was still okay. I mean, definitely scared. Going into the surgery, you're questioning, because they don't know afterwards what level of vision you're going to get back. And since I already had even in my good eye, it's bad vision. I wear a super strong contact that allows me to, drive and everything else normally. But all the question, I'll be at my kids' graduations and weddings, but will I be able to see anything there? And my wife, I wanted her face to be the last thing I saw, just in case that was the last thing. And luckily, as the bubble went down, my vision was pretty close to what it was before. And I did that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, and they had me going for regular checkups, and they discovered a scar tissue issue that was going to take over my whole eye again. So they're like, you got to go do this again. We got to go in and scrape all that out. So I'm like, all right, when we have to do that? And they're like, you're going now. Okay. So away we went, did the whole thing again. Luckily, the process was half the time of recovery, so I was still face down for a week. And then, the bubble again didn't last as long, though. It was, about a month, and I was back able to move and function again and be able to see and go back to work and that. Wasn't allowed to run for the longest time. In fact, my surgeon, he still laughs. It's been 5 years. And he's like, I'm the only patient that woke up from recovery, and the first thing I asked was, when can I run?
that doesn't surprise me, man. It's when you find something like running that just fuels your soul. When did you run again? Like, how did that pan out?
I had the surgery 2 days before Christmas. I wasn't allowed to run, and even at that, he was very slow, run, walk, a mile, 2 tops, not until mid-June. I wasn't given free clearance until end of July to be able to, all right, you can go run again, which when running is your biggest stress reliever and you can't do that in your most stressful time of life, that was a rough go.
Yeah, indeed. So now it's August 1st, 2017, and you can run again. So what'd you do? Just did a little mile here, mile there, and over time built your endurance back up?
Yeah, it took a while because there was a third issue that happened after the first 2 surgeries where they were pretty sure for a while they were going to have to go in again. And at that point, it would have been an oil bubble and 6 months of blindness. They were checking me at least once a week for that for a while. The way that my eye was healing, it was starting to pull on the back, and they were worried about it splitting the back of my eye, and game over if that happens. So luckily, a few months ago, I finally, after 5 years, got the all clear that don't have to worry about that anymore. But it was a long road to make sure everything was going to heal correctly. But that cloud holding over you for quite a while.
Is this stuff like, I don't know, like genetics, or was there like a injury, like, blunt trauma in like why, like, what do I need to do to ensure that I don't have these issues?
For normal people, well, maybe not like you, but for normal people, you have to have trauma to have a retina issue. You have to get struck in the eye or something weird happen. I didn't know it, but having one eye monovision, apparently you're more susceptible to it. I don't know if my eye's just working harder or what the heck, but apparently it's not likely to happen, but it's more likely to happen in someone like me. I didn't know that until it happened, but
I feel like the eyes is something like, and some people might take for granted, and not like the idea of seeing, but like, you hear people like skipping the dentist, but you don't ever hear people like doing their annual or whatever it is eye checkup.
That's the only doctor I make sure I always go to, and I have 3 different all my stuff I have to go to. So
yeah, I mean, I guess it's like a good thing that like the military makes me go every year, but it's like, man, like kind of freaked out a little bit just
So I
hearing.
get
I don't know why. I thought you had like an incident or something, like, fell and
no,
hit your head.
no, Joe, that was you. More than once. No, no, in all sincerity, this is a good opportunity to tell everybody to go see your eye doctor between now and the end of the year. You never know what you can catch early.
there you go.
Depending on where you live, your eye doctor may be called my eye doctor.
Oh wow.
Like,
I see what you
That's
did.
like that's where I go. It's called my eye doctor.
It's kind of like the bar called The Office, right?
We have one around here called the library.
Yes, you sure do. I bet you do. So you ran the New York City Marathon, PJ. That's kind of a big deal, one of the world marathons. That happened before or after your eye challenges of 2016, 17?
It was a result from it. August of that year, July of that year, scrolling through Facebook, there was this thing from Michelob Ultra. Hey, what would it mean to you to run the New York City Marathon? And I, typed up a thing and figured nobody actually wins these. And it was more, as I was typing it, ended up just becoming therapeutic, struggles you'd gone through and all that. And about a month later, I get this email, hey, you've won an entry, come be a guest of ours. And I thought it was spam. I almost deleted it. I sat on it for a day and I'm like, this might be legit. There's an address on the bottom. So I researched it and like, all right, it's a real building. This isn't, some far off country, someone trying to scam me out of something. And so I responded, and so they had a Facebook community and they picked 95 people, all of which who had overcome some obstacle in their life, pretty major. So it was really cool being with a group of people like that who, I had great support when I went through all my eye issues, but no one who had to come through that type of struggle personally. And then I had this group of friends all of a sudden and that was, the running of the race was great, but meeting everyone, online for so many months. And then once we were finally together, they had a team dinner the night before and finally got to, meet and shake hands and hug everyone who you'd been chatting with for so long. And, some of those friendships, have still continued on since then even.
We've said it, I would say probably 75% of the podcast, right? Like the events that we do as Angels, it's definitely about the physical event second. And yeah, the before and the after and the camaraderie and the, mingling first. Because there's very few people that, want to go run a marathon. We'll do it, because Alyssa wants to do it. It sounds like a great idea. But like the idea of running a marathon without, Alyssa seems silly to the likes of folks like us.
Yeah, I've retired from marathons a few times now and I keep coming back.
Yeah.
As we all do.
I haven't officially retired, I guess, but I'm pretty sure it's here, it's coming, it's close. But well, I don't know. I could be like the Gordie Howe or the Jordan or the PJ and keep coming back. But Mick Ultra picked 95 people, and when you said that, I was pretty confident I knew 95, but I Googled it just to be sure. Rooster, do you know why 95?
1895, the establishment of Michelob.
95 calories.
Yep.
I was pretty sure that was it, but I had to double check. That's kind of neat, It would be terrible.
I think for 96.
It would have been, yeah, if you would have been number 96. And just as a reminder to all our listeners, Miller or Molson Coors or Ambev or Mick and Miller, neither of which are a sponsor yet.
What they should be.
But you should be, and if anyone knows anyone at either of those organizations, you can email podcast and let's have a conversation.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to have, Together We Shall podcast sponsored by Mick Ultra, all because of PJ's eyes. Huh?
Yeah.
Everybody got quiet. Like, was that really that profound?
It was so deep. Or we're
So-
picturing drinking a beer right now, one or the other.
I have
No,
a
it's
question though.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. What is in your Chick-fil-A cup?
It's Purple Monster. You called me out, man. Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna go there because I don't know. Like, what was it originally?
It was a Dr. Pepper because Lori's IRA has Keurig Dr. Pepper. She has that stock. And so
Yeah.
we stayed loyal to it. Plus, I think Dr. Pepper has something to do with 55, but I don't remember what it was.
Also, Chick-fil-A, Dr. Pepper, whatever that brand is, not a sponsor yet. But so what's your vision? What do you always say? Tangent, thoroughfare, back on track. Here we go. What's your vision now, PJ? Because I know, like, I mean, you can see us, and I know you drive, and
So I wear a super strong contact. It's 11.5 power, which most people are like less than 4 if they wear contacts. So it's a pretty strong one. And with that, 20/20-ish, my eyes do vary a little bit day to day sometimes. And my good eye, my bad eye, I can see light and dark out of it, and that's about it. Occasional movement. I got big, thick cataract glasses I got to put on to walk around the house. But
isn't that weird? That always throws me off. Like, you see people with big, thick cataract glasses, but like a contact lens isn't. It's the same thickness essentially. Like, why?
oh yeah, it blows my. It's for me, it's the greatest invention because it's allowed me to live life normally.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, obviously it has to be because your eyelids, but like, if they can make something that's flexible go on your eyeball, why can't a glass lens be like that?
And they are the newer stuff out. I mean, my old glasses were the old school, super thick ones, and with the newer way they make them, they are thinner than they used to be. Even though it's the same script.
I guess I thought it was always something to do with the difference between soft lens and hard lens and how all that works and the ability to concave and convex and create, what you need to be able to see. But all of that's probably not even relevant. I don't even know why I'm saying it. I'm trying to add 2 cents to this conversation I really don't know anything about.
You just wanted to use those big convex words,
I go to the eye doctor, I think it's next month. I'm gonna like make them listen to this podcast and like have a conversation about it.
I see a lot of floaters or flashes. That's signs that you have some retina issues. So
Health insurance with TRICARE through the military, they can dilate my eyes for free and covered, or I can pay $20 out of pocket, and I put on like a VR headset thing, and they do whatever the same test they do, and they dilate your eyes, and you don't have to mess with that feeling afterwards. It's like the best $20 I spend all year. It's crazy.
Tightwad me, I would definitely not pay $20 for anything.
It's better than like driving home, like, because they're like, you got someone to pick you up. Yeah, I sure do. And you got like the sun visor down. And it's like, oh man, this is $20 done.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. PJ, what how did you find Ainsley's Angels? Because at some point along, because we didn't know you when you went through this 2016 journey, and then New York City, we didn't know you in New York City when you ran that either, right?
No. One of the people I met from Team Ultra, I'd gotten back and we do a polar plunge for Special Olympics every year. In January, we cut a hole in the ice and jump in. Good times. And I'll go space on that. And a lady from Team Ultra saw a picture of Alyssa and I, and her nickname Sparkles, and this lady was a Sparkle skirt ambassador. She's like, oh, I need to send her a Sparkle skirt. I'm like, oh yeah, it's cool. We'd been looking to how we could do a run together. And obviously regular wheelchairs don't work for that. And I'd been looking online for what the options were, and they're expensive to buy on your own. And telling her that, she lives out in Oregon. Next thing I know, next morning I wake up and she's like, oh, check out this place. And she found Ainsley's, and then info got some emails back from Rooster, and we chatted back and forth and put me in touch with them. Next thing I know, we're talking about raising money for a chair for her. During that, I kind of did some research and like, oh, it's a pretty squared away group here, and check ratings and all that. And like, all right, what if I raise money for a community chair then for here, because with Special Olympics I have lots of other people I know that would enjoy this. And seconds after hitting send on that text, phone rings. Rooster's like, how about you just bring the whole thing to Michigan? Okay.
No. It was not okay. It was not okay.
Let me talk with my wife to make sure, but I really want to do this.
Yeah. You definitely had to talk to the boss and do some compare and contrast. And in your heart, you wanted it immediately.
And it's funny you say that, because when I did talk to her, the first thing she said was, your heart's already saying yes, we're going to do this. I'm like, well, that was a second conversation. All right, let's go.
Yeah. And we're so grateful that you have, because, gosh, the number of people you've touched, through this experience, and extending upon what you can do with Special Olympics into this whole nother, execution phase. That's the beautiful thing about the populations that you serve and all of the friends that you have in your life. I mean, what would you guess the number of riders that have crossed finish lines? And it doesn't have to be unique finish lines. Like Alyssa, if she'd done 100 races, you could count 100 finish lines. What would you say that number is?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, the touch isn't what I've done. Her motivation to want to do this is what led it. So I always say, she's the one behind this, that, got it going. I've just been the mouth and the legs to help make it happen. But it was her desire to do a race. Is why everyone else in Michigan has that opportunity now. I don't know how many individual finish lines. I've had about 50 riders. And at our races, we keep track of stats because I'm a sports stat guy. So Alyssa just got her 150 miles race certificate at our last race a few weeks ago. She's our highest one. I have several others that are closing in on 100 miles. So
tell me more about that. That's a cool idea. So each of your riders, you keep track of their miles. To expand on that. I love that.
Yeah, well, not only riders, runners too. We're a team. So every 25 miles race, you get a certificate, and it's, just has Ainsley's logos on it, and congratulations for pushing or riding. They're worded a little differently depending on who it's for, but every 25 miles. And when I first started it, I was like, all right, we'll see if this is a good idea or not. And I now have riders kind of texting me before a race. I'm pretty sure I'm hitting 50 this race. You're gonna have my right? And I'm like, all right, cool. And then even some of the runners, I'm like, all right, well, they think this is cool, or it gets tossed in the trash on the way home. And again, some of them texted me like, hey, bro, we're due this time for something, aren't I? Or you forgot last time. And so end of the race, we announce who's ever hit a milestone.
That's very cool. I know other ambassadors like you give medals or things away, but I, as a stats and sports number guy, yeah, I like the idea of that. It's really cool. I keep track too of like every rider I pushed, how many times, all my races and everything, which ones I pushed with them, so I can look back on that. But that's very neat. And I do, because I would definitely be that guy too, be like, hey man, at the end of this 5K, that's my, so not.
I even kept track of how many different riders I've pushed. I have different states I've run in that, but and I have my total miles, but I haven't. I should have kept track of how many different riders.
I'm sure you could. I did it. Like I think I started it sitting on Rooster's couch years ago when I was trying to like steal his phone to get the list of Ainsley's 100 races for that paddle back there. And as I was like trying to get into his phone to get that, I was like, because he had a note, I was like, man, that's a kind of actually a cool idea. So I started keeping track of riders 4 years later. So I had to go back, I don't even know, 50 probably races, and like think about it. I had all my medals and bibs and like looking at pictures, but I was able to figure it out. So again, it can be done. It definitely takes time, but it's really neat to see that. And like, you both know, like Ashton, for example, I pushed Ashton a lot more than any other rider. And like Jen always like, says, hey, it's their X number of race together, and we get cookies and things like it. So it's very similar.
Yeah, he did it.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Yeah, a whole bunch of connection points. Get your phone out, Joe. Like, I want to know, like, where are you, by the way? I want to know how many riders, how many different riders. This is cool, PJ. Like, he's got you said you're a stats guy. You can appreciate the speed in which Joe can answer the following 4 questions. And whenever he's ready, I'll get to that. But, oh, he's ready. Wow. Okay. How many races have you done as a duo team?
151.
How many riders, unique riders, is that? Beautiful for me.
50.
50, no joke.
Yeah.
50 unique riders,
Yeah.
man. That's wow. Think about that, dude. And this is about PJ being our guest, but just take a moment. PJ, Joe has pushed 50 different humans or been pulled by 50 different humans.
Trying to look up mine too.
And so, that's every, whether it's one race or in the case of Ashton, 31. So like it ranges from 1 to 31.
What a journey. That's cool. And I think for you being able to look back and see the names and remember those races, that's kind of really cool too.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, not a silly question that I was going to ask PJ at some point, because sitting there behind him are his medals. Like I see, like PJ, and when we see our medals, I would assume multiple times a day, right? You walk by them, whatever, and a lot of times I end up looking at mine and Leanne's, and I like, it's like a flashback, a trip down memory lane, and you see what one always catches your eye, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. What's your favorite of those medals, and why?
Well,
or the best experience? Oh yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you listening, not watching, behind PJ is a bunch of medals, and I asked him his favorite one, and he picked let me see if I can, 2018 Marine Corps Marathon.
Yep.
Yeah.
The coin in the middle when you pop it open.
Yeah.
The globe on the Eagle Globe and Anchor medal that's very unique to the Marine Corps and the Marine Corps Marathon. The globe flips open and you can look inside of the earth at its core, and there's a coin in there, really craftily done. I wonder how many of those little hinges broke over the course of, anyway, that's a race.
Someone, I forget who, all the medals for the race series. Oh no, Frosty, it's in the works, but there was talk of doing a spinner. Hopefully Susan doesn't get mad at me for this. But yeah, it's always one of those things when people talk about a spinning medal. They're neat, but it's just, for every 100, you're gonna lose a couple. For every 100, you're gonna lose one, or it's just so fragile. But one of the things, it's like a heavy Marine Corps Marathon pitch this episode, that I love most about Marine Corps is the medal presentation. Like, that's probably the most, and naturally there's going to be some bias, but symbolic medal presentation that I've ever been a part of. Usually it's just a volunteer, and those Marines are volunteering or voluntold, but it's not just like, we've all been to that. You come through the finish line chute, you're all excited, the rider, woo, and then there's just like, then they're just handing the medal. Like that one, like they take the moment to put the medal on the rider. Rooster's like, Lieutenant, put the medal on Ainsley, and they're like, I have a video of it.
That's not exactly what I said. It's, Lieutenant, I present Ainsley Rossiter.
Yeah.
Please place a medal upon her neck. Anyway, okay. PJ's got something to say here. Why did you pick that one, PJ? Is it got to do with what Joe's talking about at all?
Yeah, I mean, every finish line of a marathon, it's emotional. New York, for me, the finish line was more than just a race. I was a wreck at the end of that one. But 18, when I did Marine Corps the first time, my baby brother was just finishing boot camp at Parris Island. So extra special, finishing, knowing that, I now have a family member in the Marines. And so, yeah, it's a very special one.
Dude, I had no idea your brother was a Marine.
Yep. A little bit, but he's 20 years younger than me.
No kidding. Is he still in?
Yeah.
Huh. Who knew? Bro, obviously you knew.
What you do now?
Yeah. PJ's like, Joe, I know I told you that more than once on Marine Corps Marathon weekend when I met you. And Joe's like, Miller time.
Yeah, Marine Corps Marathon, it's a crazy weekend for Joe. He can barely remember his name that weekend. That's fine.
Yeah, it was, and yeah, exactly. It was, if it was Friday after 3 p.m. on Marine Corps Marathon weekend.
Yeah, fair. And what has now become after 4:30 p.m. on Thursdays. But anyway, I digress. What do you want to talk about, PJ?
Whatever you'd like. I don't know. Where are we at? I lost.
Well, what's a funny story, man? Give us a funny story. Something that will bring some more humor into this podcast. I feel like it's one of the funniest ones I've been part of.
All right. All right. So before all of our races, we do hype videos. We put on Spotlight Saturday. We'll plug that in a second, and go through and talk about the race. Our riders introduce some runners, just kind of get everyone hyped up, and then we share them, blast them out on YouTube and Facebook and that. And they're always ad-libbed off the top of the head. I don't ever think before what I say. I like to be as surprised as everybody else with what comes out of my mouth. And my daughter's recording me. I do this whole thing. It's like 2.5 minutes long. And in my mind, I'm like, this one's going really well. The race we're doing, it's on an airport runway, little small airport. It's dusk twilight, so we have glow sticks on the chariots. And so I'm trying to describe that at the end, and I say glow, a word for the male anatomy that rhymes with sticks. And in my head, I think I've cleared that enough. I'm like, all right, it's not as bad as you thought. If you ever done any acting plays, you're not supposed to stop at the air. You keep going because the crowd won't catch on. But I noticed everyone's face behind the camera, kind of like, got done. I gave her the cut sign, and they all started roaring laughing. I'm like, no. They're like, you said glow. No, it's not that bad, guys. And we played the video back, and yeah, that can never see the light of day. Before I do any camera thing anywhere, either the couple people that were there, the stories spread throughout our whole ambassadorship, and someone will yell, hey, don't say before it. And so therefore it's in my head to not say it the entire time.
Good gosh,
Yeah.
dude. Having done many Spotlight Saturdays and a lot of video work, I can imagine how much that is now at the forefront of your mind. Like,
And the funniest thing is I was gonna go Facebook Live on that one, and last second I thought, no, let's just record it like normal, just in case. That's just
wow.
Yeah, you'd have been in Facebook jail for
I'd have been in
30
Facebook
days.
jail. Rooster been like, we've had a good run. You're done now.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Spotlight Saturday, PJ, because you and I just had a conversation in the past 48 hours about something, a text or email you sent me a month ago. We finally came full circle on it. You want to make Spotlight Saturday become a regular part of our lives again.
Pre-COVID, it's our weekly deal to see what we're doing all across the country and everything our ambassadors are doing and all the riders and runners. When races kind of shut down for a while there wasn't enough info to be putting out. So it kind of went by the wayside, understandably so. Now that we're back live almost all across the country again, it's time to get it going. So we're going to ask our ambassadors and anyone watching this, when you're at a race and taking video, send it to your local ambassador and they can get it uploaded to us. And from there, we'll take it and put it together. And every week or two, we'll put out an episode.
Do it horizontal, not vertical.
Yes.
With the way you said it though in your video, you're like, do it horizontal, not this way. It's something that's hilarious.
Yeah, so a horizontal video is what we ask people to capture because that is what translates best to our editing process as well as YouTube, because we take these and upload them to YouTube. And in case you've never heard of Spotlight Saturday, we've done 215 episodes, ranging all the way back into early 16. And so we ask you and invite you to join us. We ask you to maybe check out some of our old episodes if you've never heard of it. And if you're listening to this and there's an episode that might be your favorite, feel free to let us know either in the comments below, depending on the format you're using to watch this, or email us at podcast@angelsangels.org and kind of tell us what moments of Spotlight Saturday stand out in your mind. We're bringing it back, and PJ is going to make this happen. He's going to work and help me to travel this journey. Episode 216 is coming out soon. PJ, what's the plan?
Labor Day weekend is the plan. We got races the next couple weekends with our local ambassadors. They get enough videos to us, then we can put it up. I believe we have a chair giveaway that weekend happening, and so we'll be able to go put it up, get people start watching it again.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, if all goes well, you should be able to go to the Ainsley's Angels of America Facebook page after this episode and nominate somebody to receive the Freedom Push Chair. You go to the main Facebook page of Ainsley's Angels of America, nominate somebody, tell us why they should get a chair, and then in that episode 216, we're going to announce the winner, or if based on historical pattern, the winners, and we'll bring spotlight back that way. So it's a tie back into a lot of the old things we did, but in a new and fresh way. So PJ, thanks for re-energizing that, and I look forward to working with you to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm excited. It's I know a lot of my writers locally go back and watch episodes that they were on all the time, and keep track of it. So it's great to see, and it's great to see everyone from around the country what we're doing. You learn about different teams, and become fans of teams all around the country. Then I know Ashton because of seeing him on Spotlight Saturdays. And
PJ, this has been great, man. I've enjoyed this episode with you. I actually think I've laughed more than this one than some of the any in the past. Thanks for your vulnerability and sharing your optical journey with us. And know that we're just stoked to have you in the family, and not only executing as an ambassador, but stepping up over the past year to fill this senior ambassador role. I mean, you're directly mentoring over 20 ambassadors every day.
Trying, yeah. I love helping out, and training new ambassadors, especially getting them up to speed, and watching them get excited and all amped up for kicking off their first races, and getting the text afterwards like we did it, and I love that.
Yeah,
and this last year I've been able to travel to a couple different ones, helping them with some races, early on in their journey, and that's been a blast.
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing your expertise. It's been awesome. As we wrap up the episode, we like to ask you, either is there something you want to leave the audience with, or what is a word, your weekly word that you're going to take forth and execute moving forward over the next couple weeks? What comes to mind? You've listened to all the episodes, so you knew this was coming.
No pressure at all, right? My word's impactful. Probably 12 years ago, I was at a leadership conference, and they showed this cool little video, a TED Talk. It's like 3 or 4 minutes, the Lollipop story. Look it up on YouTube when you're done. It's a couple minutes. And it talks about how we don't realize the impact we have on people's lives, and that we're afraid to tell people sometimes. We're real quick to complain about something, or to, go on the socials and, rag about whatever, but we don't ever go back and tell people the impact they had in our lives. And, through this talk, this guy kept talking, and I'm like, oh, I know the guy I need to do this to. He has no clue the impact he had on my life growing up as a kid. And then as an adult, I was around him again, coaching skiing for Special Olympics. And so wrote up a email, sent it to him, explaining the impact he had on me. And he obviously had zero clue, but the vulnerability of doing that, and what's he going to do? He's not going to get mad reading that. But, sending that email was like hands shaking the entire time. And but yeah, just the impact and being grateful to people. So if you have someone, share with them the impact they've had on your life. It'll make their day, their week, their month.
Man, PJ, that's solid, dude. The idea of impact in one's life, and then going the next level and telling them about that impact. Life is too short for us to not, it would be unfortunate if you would have shared that at his funeral. Right. And you took the opportunity to tell him now, exactly how you feel about him, having an impact on you. And that could have re-energized him, rejuvenated him to continue to go forth and maybe even have a bigger impact. That's awesome. Joe, have you ever heard of that TED Talk?
I haven't, and I wrote it down. I'm definitely excited to listen to it. Because when I think about that, I mean, if I've ever told someone that, it's less than 5 for sure. And I can't think of anyone off the top of my head that I've done that for. And I instantly regret not doing that, because there's definitely people in my life that have made an impact on me. So I need to, kind of process this, watch that TED Talk and do that. Cause it's definitely something I have thought about over the last 3 weeks, and regret not having that conversation with my father, before him passing. Cause he's definitely one of those individuals. So I'm excited to take impactful and make it my word as well, and actually live it over this over the future. So yeah, good word. Excited to see that TED Talk.
And what's it called again? It's called The Lollipop Story.
Yep, it's the Lollipop Story. It's about 4 minutes long, and he takes it on a little different angle at the end, but the conference I was at, they made it more about the impact we have and being grateful to people.
The thing I really love about what you're offering today, PJ, and Joe echoed it, is taking time to tell those people that have had an impact in your life. What do you want to leave people with as we wrap out episode 19?
Come join us wherever you live. Look up for a local ambassadorship. If there's not one, sign up to bring it to you. It'll change your life for the better. It's one of the best decisions I've made, and so grateful that Ansys is in my life.
Let's roll it, man.
You know what? I got enough.
He's in charge.
We're done. This was good.
Yeah, we're done here. The structure of this building has reached its capacity.
Find your people, and if they make you feel sexy, even better.